And as an educator, I felt it was important for me to have like case scenarios. I can't say, well, I don't really know what they're doing these days in a salon, but I'm going to teach you what I used to do. Like that doesn't work, right? I need to be able to stay current, stay fresh, not only with trends, because in my role, it's about creating what's next. It's not about taking what's out there and showing you. It's about creating what's next and showing you. And I needed a place where I could do that. So my salon that I built is not necessarily about me taking clients. I have amazing mentees that I'm nurturing and supporting to help them build their clients. But really, it's for me to have clients periodically so I can test run some of my ideas and my theories.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get real answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. My name is Alicia Robinson, and I'm a makeup artist, beauty educator, and the creator of Friends in Beauty. I created Friends in Beauty to support like-minded creatives just like you on their quest to connect, network, and build genuine relationships within the beauty community. Join me every week as me and my special guests reveal the keys to success and longevity in the beauty industry, and most importantly, have fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Aquia Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. Now, on this episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast, I welcome Tippi Shorter, A-list celebrity hairstylist and owner of the new Hair Love Salon in Kansas City, Missouri. Tippi has styled the tresses of celebrities such as Beyoncé, Rihanna, Jennifer Hudson, Lady Gaga, Alicia Keys, and more. Her work has graced the covers of Elle, Essence, InStyle, and Vanity Fair, to name a few, as she is known for her innovative and trend-setting hairstyles. Tippi became the first African-American beauty professional spokesperson for Pantene and the first global artistic director for textured hair for Aveda. In 2019, she joined Mizani as Global Artistic Director and is the newest member of the L'Oreal Professionnel Color Artist team. She has over 2 decades of experience in the industry and has become a trusted source for hairstyling tips and trends. I was so tickled to sit down and have this conversation with Tippi. As a makeup artist, most of my world is makeup and other makeup artists, but when it comes to hair, I know who Tippi Shorter is. In this interview, Tippi shares all about what it was like opening her new salon, Hair Love, after 15 years of closing up shop in New York City, and the salon culture that she is building, spring and summer hair trends to look out for, and hair trends she'd like to see put to rest, the upcoming Textured Hair Elevated Summit, if stylists still need a portfolio in 2023, her work over the years advocating for diversity and inclusion in the industry, which celebrity gave her the most creative freedom with their look, mindset shifts that she had to make to reach her goals, and so much more. I absolutely love it when I get the opportunity to sit down with industry trailblazers who have consistently set the standard for greatness. There's so much to learn in this conversation with Tippi, and I hope that this inspires you to push forward and blaze your own trail in the industry yourself. Let's go ahead and jump into this chat with Tippi Shorter. And if you prefer to watch our beautiful faces, then tune in on YouTube. Enjoy. Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, Tippi.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you. I told you I was just so tickled to just see you just now. I'm just honored to meet you, first of all, because I'm a makeup artist.
Hey.
And I don't know anything about hair, but when I do hear the names in hair, like I definitely know who Tippi Shorter is. So when I saw your name come across as a guest, I was like, yes, this is amazing. So welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast.
Thank you. Well, so Friends in Beauties, right? Makeup, hair, we are friends. We work together. Hair and makeup teams collaborate all the time. So thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. And I did not do my makeup, so do not judge me, girl.
You look amazing.
I appreciate it.
I would not have known. Your skin is amazing.
I appreciate it.
Yes. Before we jump into the interview, I would like to start off with some icebreakers so the Friends in Beauty audience can get to know you outside of hair. So the first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
Oh, okay. I love sharing this. Actually, I'm going to share two, and they are incredibly random. I was on a Tupac album,
Uh,
and yeah, so that is one fact. Another random but fun fact is I used to dance on Soul Train.
okay. So you
And and what is another random fact about me? Oh, I went to school for photography.
okay. This is all fantastic news. So what were you doing on the Tupac album? I have to know.
All right, so I grew up in Southern California, and that is the land of everyone, being an actor, being a singer, being a something. So I grew up a dancer, and I had a lot of friends who were in singing groups and things like that. And oh, disclaimer, I am on my phone, so if my finger goes up, it's because I'm swiping away a notification. Um, so anyway, grew up dancing behind a lot of my friends who were really, really, really wonderful singers. And at some point, someone was like, "Hey, Tippi, you should be in a singing group." And I'm like, "Okay, I don't sing very well, but okay." So I just remember being in a singing group with four other young ladies. There was five of us, and we were at a recording studio, and we go out for our little break, and Tupac is in the lobby, and he's having his lunch. He's eating Roscoe's chicken and waffles, and he's like, "Hey," he saw, a bunch of ladies walking out of us, and I'm like 19, 20.
Mhm.
He sees a bunch of ladies walking out of a studio. He's like, "Hey," so he's chit chatting with us, and I was like, "I have extra food. You guys hungry? Come eat." So we sit down, and during this time, it was uh, this was like Digital Underground. So he had just did like the Digital Underground song. Maybe he had like one song out. I think he might have been filming Juice. So it was kind of like at this kind of the beginning of his career, but you knew who he was. And he was like, "Well, I'm doing a song and I need a female's voice." And like all the ladies were shy. And I was like, "I'll do it." And so basically, I played Tupac's girlfriend on a song on one of his albums, and it never came out. The song never came out,
Mhm.
and I never even heard the song. And then when he passed, when people passed, they release all the unreleased stuff. So
Right.
then it came it came out on the unreleased stuff.
That is an amazing story. Because first of
It's so
all,
funny to think about.
I'm so jealous that I didn't get to meet Tupac in my lifetime because I'm so young. I'm like,
And have lunch with him, have some Roscoe's chicken and waffles with him.
are y'all hungry? We're always hungry, okay? Especially so on Soul Train, what was like your go-to move? Like, did you have a go-to like
So, when I say Soul Train, I think the first thing people think of is like the ladies with the little dresses on, and I was not that girl. So when I was going, I think I started going when I was 17, and I went until I was about 21, and that's when I moved to New York.
mhm,
But between 17 and 21, um, it was like mid 90s. And so when you think of like the fashion that was out then, it
mhm,
was like Mary J. Blige, it was Jodeci, Faith Evans, so we're talking like big baggy TLC, we're talking about like big baggy jeans, little crop tops, big baseball caps, big ponytails poofing out of the back of a baseball cap. So those are the clothes that we wore, and as a
mhm.
result we didn't get a lot of airtime because we weren't showing enough skin.
Right.
so so I mean, I was a hip hop dancer. So you think anything that any of the hip hop dancers were doing in the mid 90s, that's what I was doing. So I didn't have a signature move, but I'd been dancing my whole life.
I love your random facts. That is just so cool. Okay. So I have these things called pod decks and they have like random
Ah,
crazy questions in them. One
cute.
is a would you rather and a what the heck? Which one do you want?
Okay. Whoa. Let's do what the heck.
What the heck? People love what the heck because it's green. Let's give
Oh,
Tiffany a card. Let's see. Uh, did that one before. That's weird. Okay. See, I told you I did not make up these questions, y'all.
just dig deep, dig deep.
Oh, this is cute. When you were a kid, did you have any posters on your wall? If so, what?
Yeah. So, oh goodness, who was I? So Bruce Lee. I was a huge Bruce Lee fan. I had two older brothers who were major Bruce Lee fans.
Mhm.
So the posters on my wall were Bruce Lee, Michael Jackson. And I feel like that might have been it. I think that might have been it. Maybe
Okay.
Bruce Leroy from from Bruce Leroy and Michael Jackson.
Okay, okay, I like that. Okay, so I saw that you just celebrated a milestone birthday. So
I
happy belated
did.
birthday.
Thank
So
you.
I would love to know, like, what advice would you give to 30-year-old Tippi right now?
Whoa, okay. So 30-year-old Tippy was um she owned a salon in New York City. She was crushing the goals in her journal. She was traveling the world with A-list celebrities. She was having an amazing time. Um, she was saving, she was paying off her bills, what she wasn't doing is she wasn't investing. So a 30-year-old, I would tell a 30-year-old me that what you're doing is amazing. You're having the time of your life. You need to start preparing for your future. So start investing, because your savings account isn't returning anything.
Exactly.
So take your money out of your savings, learn a little bit more about investing. And then also, let's see, live a little, live a little.
Mhm.
It's really funny. My friends tell me that I am always so serious, or I'm always, like I never want to hang out. I never want to do those things, because for me, it's like, what's the project? What are we doing? Let me get in, let me get out.
Mhm.
I can tell you stories of being 30 years old and being on tour with, with the celebrities and traveling with hair and makeup who have become family. And, they want to hang out. And I'm like, I don't want to hang out. I want to go to my room and get some rest.
Yeah.
And I think I would tell the 30-year-old me to balance. Make time for balance. Enjoy it. Enjoy a little bit. Enjoy everything that you're working hard for.
Gotcha. I love that. What do people always tell you that you're good at aside from hair, of course?
Mentoring. People think I'm really good at educating, which ironically I'm an educator.
Mhm.
And that's probably what drove me in that path. Because even as a salon stylist, I would always educate my clients on what I was doing and why and the benefits. And I think that's why people gravitated towards me. Wasn't just because, I did nice hair, because there's a ton of stylists who do nice hair, but I think they were also getting the benefit of learning about their hair as well from me. So I would say educating and mentoring.
Gotcha. Okay. I love asking this question because it gets people's wheels turning. But when is the last time that you did something for the first time?
Oh, um, the last time I did something for the first time. That is a great question. Um, I, oh gosh. Well, my family and I, we spent the Christmas holiday out of the country on the beach. And
Mm.
that was the first time I did that.
I,
And it will not be the last. Yeah.
I like that. Where'd you all go?
We went to Dominican Republic.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had an opportunity actually to jump off a cliff into the water. So I was just thinking, I did jump off smaller cliffs, but the very first one was the highest and I chose to take the stairs.
Mhm.
So, but I did jump off a cliff into the water. So that particular trip was a few first.
Nice. I like that. Okay. And the last one, if you weren't a celebrity hairstylist, educator, salon owner, dancer, look, all the things, okay? Singer. What else could you see yourself doing? Is there anything else that you're passionate about?
Yeah, it's quite a few things actually, which is a problem for me because I'm a doer and I am creative, so I think I can do everything, which is
Yeah.
not good. I have confidence in myself. I'm like, girl, you can't do it all. Um, I would, I would be a fashion designer.
Ooh.
Um, I would own a boutique. I would be a jazz singer in my own little pub. Um, I would be a music video director because As I mentioned, I went to school for photography, but while shooting as a photographer, which was helpful because it allowed me to shoot my own work, I learned that I love moving imagery more than still imagery. So, which lended to more video, which is great because with social media, it's all this content capturing.
Right.
So yeah, I might have been a music video director because I love music and I love entertainment. So yeah, I think there's quite a few things I could have been doing.
Okay, okay. She could do it all. Okay. I love
I
it.
cannot. I want to, but I cannot do it all.
That, like you said, that's the creative mind. Like we're so passionate about other things, and then like we just want to pursue them all, and it's exhausting to be a creative
Yeah,
sometimes
boy.
because
Yes.
we don't lack ideas. We always could do something.
No, no, but I have to be careful. I have a teenage daughter, and she's in a space where she's finding her talents and her creativity, and I have to be super cautious not to put my wants and ideas on her, and really just try to nurture what she wants to do. So, as a uber creative person, I think that's the one thing I need to make sure that I balance out is that I'm not putting my ideas and dreams on her.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so how long has it been? Like, how long have you been in the hair, the beauty industry?
So we talked about me celebrating a milestone birthday. So just for everyone watching, I just turned 50 2 months ago, and I was licensed. I think I got licensed when I was 2021.
Okay.
So 30 years. Yeah, I've been a hairstylist for 30 years, basically.
Wow. And I just have to say, like, seeing Black women these days gives me so much, like, I'm just excited to get older. Like, when we were younger, like 50 used to be like, oh my
Just
God,
seem
like
like I know,
50.
man. It's so funny
But
because I know I'll go places and I'll tell people I'm 50. They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." I was like, "But I don't feel it." And it is really true that you are as old as you feel. And I can tell you, there's some mornings I wake up and I'm like, "Ooh, for sure I'm 50." But like when the day gets started, get these bones warmed up, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no,
I mean,
early
you always
40s,
make it
late
look so
30s."
good. I'm just like, I could be 50. Okay, I could do that. And I saw that you just went to Bronner Brothers. How was your
Mhm.
experience at Bronner Brothers recently?
Yeah. So that was actually my very first time at Bronner Brothers. It was a wonderful experience. I never went when it was at its historical Atlanta location. I do understand that they are like changing the model a little bit and going and moving around to different cities just
Okay.
to bring in different groups of audience.
Mhm.
But it was fantastic. I had a great time. It's New Orleans, and I could go to New Orleans. Listen, I ate beignets at least twice a day. It was crazy. So, and they were serving them in the at the venue at the convention center. So that was not a good thing for me. But the show itself was fantastic. I was able to connect with people that I have not seen in years
Mhm.
in the beauty industry, and I was able to meet a lot of brilliant new talent. So it was a lot of fun. I had a great time.
That's awesome. I used to do, well, I did Bronner Brothers maybe like twice. I used to work at the booth with Vanessa Myricks when she had her brand down there.
Ah, yeah.
That used to be a
Yeah, I
really
didn't know. Yeah, that's great to know. I didn't know that she also did it. But while we're talking about shows, I'd love to add, because I'm not even sure that you might know, but I have a show called Textured Hair Elevated, and it's a
okay.
summit, it's a 2-day summit that we're doing, and it's in Atlanta this year. It's October 8th and 9th, and it's going to be 2 full days. One day is all stage education. So there's going to be like major brands like Moroccan Oil, Matrix, Redken, Mizani, L'Oreal, Kerastase, all those brands are going to be on stage presenting education. And then on day two, you'll have the opportunity to go to a classroom and do hands-on learning from what you saw yesterday. So I'm really excited about our Textured Hair Elevated Summit because education is key. It's the only way to stay at the top of your game. And especially like coming off of Bronner Brothers, it was really fun to connect with people because I think I'll be bringing some of those people to the summit.
Yes, that's really exciting. How long have you been doing that?
So this is our fourth year. It's our second year live and in person. We started this during COVID. So our
Mhm.
first two events were virtual. And then we just hosted our first live last year in Atlanta. And this will be our second live event in Atlanta. And then next year, we're going to start moving from city to city.
That is really exciting because I know for makeup artists, we have our, trade shows and everything like that. But that's
Mhm.
exciting to know that the hairstylists have something that they can go to for continuing
Oh,
education
yeah,
as well. And to connect.
absolutely.
Yeah. So how can people find out about it? Do you have a
Sure. Yeah, so follow us for sure on Instagram at Textured Hair Elevated. It's textured.hair.elevated. As an acronym, we just call it the summit. You can also go to the website, which is texturedhairelevated.com. And of course, follow me, Tippi Shorter, because I'll be posting when tickets go live. Because in addition to the show, any artist, any hair artist who has been, taking imagery of their work, whether it's in the form of a collection, or if it's just before and afters and you're super proud of it, we also have an awards that celebrates the mastery of people working on hair types that are wavy, curly, and coily. And when I say that, that doesn't mean that your style, your end result, has to be wavy, curly, or coily. It could be straight, it could be braids, it could be weaved, it could be wigged, it could be any of those things. But it's about the mastery of knowing how to work with hair that starts as a wave, a curl, and a coil. So we have the Textured Hair Elevated Awards, and we'll actually be announcing the winners of those awards at our summit, October 8th and 9th. But the platform is open now for anyone who is interested to submit your work for the awards.
That is so exciting. I can't even remember what episode she was, but I had a conversation with a lady named Stephanie LaFlora. She has a platform called Crown Hunt that is
Oh,
like continuing education for like curly people. So she may be interested in like attending probably. I'm gonna have to tell her about it.
yeah. Oh, you should need to connect us actually.
Yeah, I'll connect you all. I think she would really
Yeah.
enjoy that because she's really advocating and providing a platform for stylists to learn how to do textured and curly hair because of the
Yeah.
we have with
Yeah.
not knowing how to serve us sometimes. So I think she would.
Right.
This is like a
Absolutely.
random question that I thought about when you were talking about people capturing their work, but how important are portfolios still when it comes to hairstylists showcasing their work?
Incredibly important, and not to the extent of the portfolios that we used to carry. And I say we, I don't even know if you're old enough to be a part of that group. But once upon a time, we had to physically carry like a 9 by 12
Okay.
leather bound book that had all your work printed in high resolution. Now, your portfolio is your Instagram. And, I know that people have heard this in and out, in and out, in and out, that your work on your Instagram speaks volume and it should be work. And if you're posting like, I'm hanging out, I'm drinking, that shouldn't be on your work page. That should be on your social and your personal page. Your work page needs to be your work page. I refer people all the time. And let me tell you, and in fact, I was working with a celebrity and she's like, Tippi, I need a makeup artist. I was like, oh, cool. I have one I can recommend. And she's like, what's her name? I just told her name. And 3 seconds later, she's looking at her Instagram page. She was like, "Oh, well, she didn't really have any work on here." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, you might have to go to her website." And she's not doing that. She's not going to the website. She
Right.
wants to see what your work is. So that is your portfolio. Instagram is your portfolio.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that. So keep it tight. Keep it
Yeah.
right on Instagram.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you can't show you, because if you look at mine, like I'm an educator, so I don't do celebrity work as frequently anymore. So my work shows, my page shows me as an educator, me as a host, me as a mom, me as a wife, me as a mentor, me as a salon owner, business owner, and things like that. So you'll get a really great sense of what I do. And I think when people are like, yeah, because I've been doing this for 30 years, I think it's known that I'm a hairstylist. I don't think people need to, see my work like that anymore. But if you are in a space where you're growing and you're building, then for sure your social media page needs to reflect that.
Yeah. Speaking of salons, congratulations on opening
Thank
up Hair
you.
Love. That is so
Thank
exciting.
you.
And I saw that you haven't
It-
had a salon in over 15 years. So like what inspired you to open up another salon and like why now?
well, yeah. So, well, thank you. The salon is called Hair Love, and so I live in Kansas City now. So, as I mentioned, I grew up in Southern California. When I was 21, I moved to New York, and while I'm not exactly like, did I open it when I was 30? I think I opened it when I was 30. Um, in New York City in the Soho area. And after being there for 5 years, I was traveling with celebrity and I just couldn't do both. I just couldn't do it. Also, I opened the salon back then out of necessity of just needing a place to work.
Mhm.
And so it was a different case. Many moons forward, moved to Kansas City where my husband is from. We live here, we raise our family here, and I travel for work. And as an educator, I felt it was important for me to have like case scenarios. I can't say, well, I don't really know what they're doing these days in a salon, but I'm going to teach you what I used to do. Like that doesn't work, right? I need to be able to stay current, stay fresh, not only with trends, because in my role, it's about creating what's next. It's not about taking what's out there and showing you. It's about creating what's next and
Mhm.
showing you. And I needed a place where I could do that. So my salon that I built is not necessarily about me taking clients. I have amazing mentees that I'm nurturing and supporting to help them build their clients. But really, it's for me to have clients periodically so I can test run some of my ideas and my theories.
Yes.
It's like a test. It's like a testing ground for me, but it's a full house salon.
What is that creative process like for hairstylists to kind of be innovative in a way to come up with new styles or to do something that's not being done at the moment?
Yeah, inspiration, you get inspired by something. And, I've got about 2 dozen mannequin heads at the salon. So, when I think of something, I'm not jumping right on a client immediately. I'll test run it on my mannequins several times and before I start, bringing in clients for it. And with clients, I do take clients, but the majority of the time when I'm doing a test run on something, I am, or the test run, let me not say test run because I'm not doing test run on clients. The test run I do on mannequins. When I'm ready to execute it on someone, then I take clients, but it's generally for like content that I do. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, just curious. So the prep for salon opening, like how long did it take or like the initial thought of saying, okay, I'm going to jump back into having a salon to the point where you opened it? Like how long was that process?
I think that was about 3 months. It wasn't
Okay.
very long. It wasn't like I sat and deliberated on it. It was really like I am here in Kansas City. Well, so it's really funny because I told you that my first salon in New York City, I opened out of necessity. I almost feel like I did this one out of necessity as well, because my goal was to have a place where I can um, be creative. I just wanted to go and be creative when I wanted to be creative.
Mhm.
Whether that's one day a week or one day a month or whatever. And just looking, I live in the Midwest and I don't know many beauty. I only probably know two or three people here with salons. I'm not like really connected to the beauty community here because upon moving to Kansas City, I determined that I was going to be mom and wife because I travel for work. When I'm
Mhm.
here, I'm mom and wife.
Yeah.
And so as a result, I just don't know a large group of, the huge beauty community here, just a few people. So with that being said, I just couldn't find a space that one would allow me to come in when I wanted to, and two, that provided the environment that I wanted. And so one thing about me is that, I don't necessarily take no for an answer. So since I couldn't find the environment I wanted, I just had to create it. I had to build it.
Yeah, I like that. Do you kind of become bored in a sense with not being, because I know as a makeup artist, I know I get bored with clients sometimes, and sometimes I gotta go do a photo shoot so I could test out something creative. Is it the same thing with like hair? You kind of get stuck in a
Yeah,
piece.
yeah. Well, so I haven't been, well, so here's the thing. So differently, my work for the last 20 years has been a little bit of everything that I love. It's
Mhm.
been, I take a client once or twice a month. I'll do a celebrity once or twice a month, and then I'm teaching once or twice a month. So I
Mhm.
get literally a little bit. And then on my free time, I can put a test together. I'll grab a photographer, a videographer, a model, and a makeup artist, and now we're going to create some magic. And I might do that like once every 2 months.
Yeah.
So I get a little bit, I have a really great balance. So in my salon, let me also say that I have a back room that I'm creating just for content. So this
Ooh.
back room has its own chair, its own mirror, and it has a backdrop and lighting. So if I want to shoot content, I can. If I want to host a video shoot, a photo shoot, I can, while like full business with salon clients is happening in the front.
I love that. Gotta get, I love your content, by the way. You have really fun content.
Thank you.
Yeah. What services are you providing at the salon? Because I did see. you then mixing up some colors,
Oh,
makeup and stuff. I thought that was fun.
so I do have a makeup artist there. So I have four, I don't have four stylists, but I have chairs for four stylists. And I have two stylists plus me. So I'm like a half, so I have like two and a half stylists. And then I've got a full-time makeup artist. And my receptionist is also a makeup artist. I went and had a custom lipstick made once, and it was like the most fun experience
Yeah.
ever. And I was like, "Ooh, I live in the Midwest. They don't have anything like this. I would love to bring this here." So I went and bought a bar, and I created a full lipstick bar where you can come in and have your custom lipstick made right on the spot. You're mixing it, you're help selecting your shades, you are deciding whether you want to match your satin or glossy, and your lipstick is being created right there for you while you wait.
That is
So that
fun.
yeah, so that's the mixing that you see.
Okay, that's a lot of fun. I had that experience. I went to Dallas one time and did that with a friend of mine. That was fun.
Mhm.
Yeah. What is the salon culture that you want to build at Hair Love?
That's a really great question, and I have thought about this in great detail. As a salon owner and as a boss, a mentor, I definitely want to. I want to mentor and I want to nurture and support the stylist. So my goal is to have stylists who are newer in their career versus fully established stylists who like work how they want to work and are used to set in their ways. Essentially, I want to help usher in a newer generation of stylists and really put them on a great path of education, a really great path of business, a really great path of customer service. So that is the culture and the environment that I am providing at Hair Love.
And I know they appreciate you so much for that because I know in speaking with different people in the beauty industry, whether it's hair or makeup, I know maybe about, I won't say it has changed a lot. Maybe like 10 years ago, a lot of people used to complain about people not providing information or people not being as forthcoming with wanting to help and everything. But it seems like a
Yeah.
lot of things have kind of shifted, which is really good. So I know they're,
Yeah. There is, and there is still some of that, unfortunately. And I was just sharing. I just had a team meeting with one of my stylists earlier today, and she, was like, let's talk about your wins and your highs and your lows. Now let's talk about as my employee, tell me what you think the highs and lows are, for you working with me. And she's like, there really aren't any low. Her low was is that I travel too much, so I'm not there enough for her. But the highs are all the things that I mentioned and that I was hoping to hear about the nurturing, the education and all those things. So, what I will say is she did share prior that at a previous salon that the, the salon owners didn't provide anecdotal like ideas or advanced concepts or things like that. I'm just like, especially in a salon environment, like if it's yours, you're growing it. You want everyone to be the best that they could possibly be. So there is no reason for me to hold things there. And by the way, I'm an educator. My job is literally to teach,
right.
what I know. So I think I'm pretty confident in me. I'm pretty secure in my knowledge, so I'm okay sharing it. I think maybe sometimes when people aren't as secure in what they know and what they are doing, maybe that's why they tend not to share, perhaps.
Is there anything when it comes to hair that you're not as confident in doing after all of this time?
Yeah, I mean, new things come out, new trends come out all the time. So, which is why I have tons of mannequin heads. I'm like, oh, I saw this on, social media. I've never seen that before. Let me try it. So, anytime you try something for the first time, you're always not confident. I am a pretty good person at figuring things out. So there are, but I stay educated, meaning that, like, for example, I've already got three classes. I'm going to Toronto in 2 weeks for editorial hair class. Like, I've done editorial work
Okay.
for the last 30 years, but I'm going to take a class from someone that I respect and admire that's not even in this country. So I stay educated in that way. So if there is something I'm uncomfortable with, I learn.
Yes, I love, and that is so important for people to hear because I always tell people, especially when they're first starting off, I'm like, y'all really need to put some money to the side for these classes because
Hmm.
you're gonna have to continue to learn. I think that's one thing that not that I regret, but one thing I wish that I knew when I first started doing makeup is like put some money to the side, because I love taking classes and I love continuing to learn new things. But to hear you say that you're still taking classes is
Oh
like,
yeah.
I don't want people to like miss that, because some people get so comfortable and think that they
Yeah.
know everything. They don't have to continue to learn. But Tippi Shorter is still taking classes. Okay.
And
So
by the way, and it's not even, and this class is not even necessarily a class that I could put to practical use right away because it's editorial styling.
right.
But one of the things that I enjoy is doing creative photo shoots. So I can apply it in that way. It may not help me in the salon, but it'll help me in another aspect of things that I want to do. It'll push me, creatively. So yeah, education is key. Like if you can do at least a class a quarter, like once every 3 months, I
Mhm.
highly recommend it. And again, which is why we created the summit. And the goal is to put all this education under one roof. So it's just one investment.
Got you. Got you. Is there anybody that you trust with your hair as a stylist, or do you just do your own hair?
So I do my own hair and I am a salon customer. I will go to a salon in a heartbeat in any
Mhm.
random city and sit in anybody's chair
Okay.
and just see what they're going to do because I can learn. I can learn, right? So I can, oh, like I really like, even if it's just sitting in the chair, like, oh, I really like how they have their retail displayed, or oh, I really like, their little footrest for their shampoo bowl or
Yeah.
whatever, right? So I'm learning the whole experience. Now, I'll tell you, I typically don't tell anyone I'm a hairstylist until I feel like maybe they are about to go really crazy with my hair and they're gonna do something that I would never do. So
Yes.
that's when I'm just like, well, actually, I'm a hairstylist. I prefer for you to not use that tool. I prefer for you to use that tool. Hey, you didn't shampoo, I think I still have conditioner in the back of my head, like whatever. When
Okay.
I feel like I need to jump in and tell them like I'm a hairstylist, can you please do this? Then that's when, the dynamic shifts. But I've been to salons where I've no one they didn't even know I was a hairstylist.
Okay.
I just I was just a customer.
I like that. When you were
Yeah.
primarily working with celebrities more, like what celebrity gave you like the most creative control with their hair that you can pretty much say, oh, Tippy, like whatever you think, like just go with it.
Um, I would say each of them at certain points in their career have given me like full creative control.
Mhm.
Um, I remember, I think let me see. So my computer wants to keep starting up. When I started, the very first celebrity I started traveling like the world with was Rihanna, and so it was new in her career, and we were very restricted on like her look. The label was very like, "Wish this is the look. This is she can stay. You can have fun, but it needs to stay in these parameters, right? It has to be this color, has to be this length. It has, you know what I mean? So it wasn't until like a few albums in where she was able to like change it. And from there, it was like there was no stopping.
Right.
Um, and so not until then was I able to get like creative ability, creative license. When I was working with Alicia Keys, I came in and I she was ready for a different look. So prior to me working with her, she had done braids up until then. And then when I started working with her, her look changed. And we were doing curly, straight, we were doing all the things.
Right.
And so she gave me creative freedom, but it wasn't like, she just sat down and whatever it was like I had to come with like, here's my presentation. This is what I'm thinking, because
Yeah.
it also has to like blend on like what the venue is or what the event is and what she's going to be wearing. And, so I like to come to the table with like at least 5 to 6 ideas,
Mhm.
just so, because what I've been thinking and dreaming may not work.
Right.
I
Right.
will say when so that was the first album. So it was the As I Am album with the song with No One, like that, the really big hit No One. So that's when I started working with her. And then so that for next album, she brought in her glam team to the studio and played the album for us. So that way we can start getting ideas for like what the vibe of the album is. So that now she's like, okay, I know you, I trust you. Now you can have a bit more like creative, like freedom. So I was able to like help steer what the look was for that album for her hair.
That's really cool. Two things. When you talked about Rihanna and her hair, I'm like, that makes so much sense as to why she went for the red, the black, the choppy, she
Yeah,
kind of went
because she
like,
was so restricted for the first two
"Dang,
albums, like the look did not change.
that makes total sense."
Yeah.
And then with working with celebrities too, have you ever been in a position where you had to like you said, Rihanna had like strict rules for how she had to be presented. Were you ever in charge of creating an artist's look or anything like that?
Um, so no, I don't think there, well, so not creating, so for example, let's go back to Rihanna. So they decided she was gonna have this length, this hair color,
Gotcha.
but the look, how what it looked like was up to me, but I wasn't the one that was in the meeting that says it needs to be this hair color, this length, right? So that was the record company. Um, I have been in meetings with the label and the manager with how what the new artist was going to be, but most of the times my work comes, I get hired by the record company and the artist is already signed and they kind of already have a look. And so there's never been anyone they're like, we want to totally change the look and we need your help. It's normally like they have a look, we just need to elevate it a bit.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. I love this. Okay. So just circling back to education, because you are an educator for L'Oreal and Mizani. So
Mhm.
what are the differences in the type of curriculum that you get to teach for the two different brands?
Sure. So for Mizani, my official title is Global Artistic Director. So I actually help create the education that the rest of the educators go out and facilitate. Um, I've had the amazing pleasure of creating a curl cutting system called the Mizani Air Cut, and it is a systematic method of cutting curls that really puts the technique and fundamentals into cutting curly hair. Because prior to it was kind of like you just cut a curl by curl, you just cut what you know, or you go to like traditional methods, how you would cut straight hair, but that doesn't always work for curly hair. So yes, so the Mizani Air Cut is something that we are certifying stylists in the US and abroad, that I'm incredibly honored by. And so with Mizani being a styling brand, cut and styling is my focus as an educator for Mizani. L'Oreal Professionnel is a hair color brand that also has styling products, but hair color is where they launched. And so I'm a hair color educator with L'Oreal Professionnel. So I won't do any styling, like I won't be teaching any styling classes for L'Oreal Professionnel. It's all hair color classes, primarily on waves, curls, and coils.
Oh, Tippi, you're just like, so I don't want to use the word lit, but you have a lot going on, and
I
it's
do.
really exciting and it's really admirable to see, because I know that when I first started off in the beauty industry, people were like, "You gonna do what? You gonna be a makeup artist?" But because people don't know the different layers and the different things that you can do as a hairstylist,
Yeah,
as a makeup artist, like you're
yeah.
educating with two major brands, creating new techniques, new styles, and everything like that. That is just so cool for like young up and coming artists to see, like this the potential for what they can do with their careers. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And thank you for saying that because I will say that there might have only been one or two people, period, not even with the brands that I'm with, but just period, that have come before me that I would see that look like me.
mhm.
So I'm really happy to be here in this space for the younger generation. And there's so many more of us now.
Yes, yes. When it comes to like diversity and inclusion, because this was like a big topic, especially like during the pandemic and everything,
Mhm.
like what can you say you have done to be able to like help move the needle in a positive direction for, for up and coming artists?
So that has been my mission since forever.
Mhm.
So it didn't just become popular for me during the pandemic. It's definitely been something that I have been doing for forever. Is educating. First, I was educating the consumer on their own hair, and I did that when I was the spokesperson for Pantene. And then I moved into the professional space and I became the global artistic director for texture with Aveda. That role didn't even exist before. So they didn't even have education within the Aveda network. And I'm talking about stores, schools, salons. So the education that was created was from me for Aveda. So I helped usher in a whole new way of thinking about hair there. And then I'm also part of the L'Oreal DE&I project. And they just launched an initiative called Texture of Change. And this is to put texture in the textbooks. So there's a petition. If you go to Texture of Change, there is a petition to sign up to put texture education in the textbooks. So I'm a part of that initiative. And then more importantly, I have the Textured Hair Elevated Summit, which highlights, features, and focuses on artists that are Black and Brown, and puts us on stage on platforms that we aren't typically on, in front of audiences that we're not typically in front of, and at an elevated way. And then introducing the Textured Hair Elevated Awards, which when you think of hair awards, you think of, there's one big national award here that is like the Oscars for the hairstylist, but unfortunately there is a texture category. So you've got haircut, you've got hair color, you've got hairstyling, and you've got texture. Well, guess what? You can cut, color, and style texture. So the Texture Hair Elevated Awards is about celebrating stylists who are excellent and masterful in working on textured hair, whether you're cutting it, coloring it, styling it, or extending it. So those are the things that I've been doing to help push the needle forward.
Awesome. Have you heard of the Black Beauty roster?
I have, yeah.
I think they would like you too, or you
Yeah.
would like them as well.
Yeah.
The Black
I
Beauty.
don't know anyone there, so that's another connection for you, my friend.
Yes, one of the founders is actually one of my clients. She's here in yeah.
Okay.
I'll definitely tell her about you.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was going to ask you too, for the education jobs that you have, are those things that you sought out yourself, or did they find you and say, hey, Tippi, we want to bring you on board?
It's a really great question. So my very first entry into education, as I mentioned, I was with Pantene. That was through my agent, because Pantene was looking for someone, and they reached out to agencies, and they had, I think, about 100 people come in to interview. And so I got that role. And when it became the pro space, I was actually invited to do a show for Aveda, through a friend who is their he was their art director for styling. And he
Okay.
and I were friends. We used to do fashion week together. And he was like, hey, they're they do a show every 2 years, and they're really looking for someone to feature and focus on textured hair. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll do it. So after the show, we got a standing ovation. It was insane. I was not expecting that. And then right after that, they reached out to me immediately, like, we'd love for you to be an educator with us. And then, yeah, so like 6 months later, I was an educator with them. And I was with them for 6 years. And then I decided to go because even though they had good intentions, the brand, the rollout of everything we were doing just wasn't happening fast enough, and it wasn't catching up with what I was doing. And and additionally, they are a brand that really, they're very trend based. And so for them, curly hair wasn't always a trend focus. So, and I'm like, it's unfortunate because I have curly hair every day. So I wanted to really move to a brand that spoke to waist curls and coils on a regular basis and not kind of intermittently. So with Mizani, I reached out to them, and and then that was history. And then with L'Oreal, once again, my agent reached out to them as well. And yeah, so it's been a little bit of back and forth.
Got you. Okay. So don't be afraid to shoot your shot sometimes and go
Yeah,
after,
you just never
especially
know.
if you see an
Yeah,
opportunity there for change, and you can help with that change, and just go after it.
exactly. Just have a good case of what you can do, why you're reaching out, and how you can be an asset to the brand.
Absolutely. Well, I want to shift gears a tiny bit and switch to a little never have I ever. Of course, we're not taking
Ah,
shots or anything like that. But I have a never have I ever
shots
segment.
of water.
Yeah, shots of
Shots of
water. Stay hydrated, my friends.
right.
So I have a question for you. If this has happened for you or happened to you before, you can share like the story behind it. If not, like how would you instruct one of your L'Oreal students to fix this problem in real time? Okay.
Okay.
So never have I ever messed up someone's color beyond repair. Has that ever happened to you before?
No, not beyond repair, but I definitely messed up someone's color. And I and I've had people that I've mentored mess up someone's color. And the and so kind of all right, so I'll get there. But remember I talked about, when I'm an educator and you'll get questions. Some of the questions are like, well, what if you have a client that has this, 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 and this? And if you're not in a salon and you don't have these scenarios, you really don't have an answer for them until you've experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
So not that I've opened my salon to mess up color. That's not what I did. But there have been scenarios, and it's been actually super helpful for me. So answer your question, not beyond repair. I have messed up someone's color, and then and I fixed it, and it didn't mess up their integrity of their hair, but just maybe the color was not as bright, not as vibrant, not as blended, not as non-brassy. So there's been scenarios where I had to have them come back for a second appointment to fix it.
Got you. How do you I guess manage the expectations of your students in those kind of situations to know that, sometimes you will make mistakes, but this is how you can handle it?
Yeah, I think they have to understand that they're learning. And if there are things that they are unfamiliar with, they need to test it out on mannequins first before they start jumping. Like they can't watch something on YouTube and be like, oh, I'm gonna try that on my next client. Like, no. Or you can't even be in a class and watch someone do something and say, oh, I'm gonna do that next. No, practice it first because you need to work out your own challenges first before you can put it on the client.
Absolutely. And now that we're transitioning into like spring and summer, like what are some hair trends that we should be looking out for?
Yeah, so hair color is super poppin'. I don't think it ever was not. I think what's really interesting is that last year we were all about like the super ashy blondes. I think this year we're gonna see some warmer blondes, a little bit more golden blondes, a bit more butter blondes, not such like white ashy blondes. And
Okay.
I'm saying this on like curly hair.
Uh-huh. I'm thinking about coloring my hair like
Yeah,
something like yours, a little bit lighter. I don't know, but you said the
yeah,
blonde, so I might have to I'm
yeah.
about to switch it all the way up for y'all.
Yeah, you come visit KC and I'll get you together.
Yes. Are there any hair trends that you would like to see go and like never come back again?
I have a love-hate relationship with artful edges, with hair art, with edge art, not
Oh,
artful edges, because that's
got
the name of a product that I love. Edge art is something that I have a love-hate relationship with. And it's so funny because someone's like, can you pull out my baby hairs? I'm like, you're not a baby, you're an adult. We're doing adult hair. It's like it will not, we're not doing swirls and curls. So which is interesting because I like to see it sometimes, but I don't want to do it. And so it's definitely not for me.
I saw the funniest meme the other day. It was like, those aren't baby hairs. Those baby's hair. That baby done grew up and went to college because the thing was
Right.
like,
Yes.
like down here somewhere.
Right, like just doing it. Now listen, that's what it's like if it's for like a super intricate photo shoot and when you've got the studs and like like I like it when it's in a creative medium. There's just like everything just does not need to be walking down the street. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yes.
Honestly, and I'm gonna add this too, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I remember once upon a time, I've worked with celebrity for 20 years, and lace wigs were very popular in my line of the work because celebrities get their hair done 4 or 5 times a day. They're under lights. You have to keep touching it up. So wearing wigs is essential because they don't want to mess up their hair.
Mhm.
And then there was some point about 10 years ago when it went from just being celebrity stuff to like everybody wearing wigs.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just like you can see the lace. You can see it.
You can
Like I
see
don't
it.
care what form of melt. I don't care how much you put the Sanic strip around your hairline. You can see the lace. And I can't not stand in front of someone and not look at their hairline because I'm like, I can see that, right? So I think that's something I wish if it doesn't go away, because I do understand, like, listen, I wear units, but I don't have the lace. So I leave, a little bit of my hair out around the hairline, and then I put the wig on. And then, so now you're looking at my hairline. So I wish people would start taking more care of their own hairlines and
Mm,
doing less glue on them. Um, yeah, so I definitely would like to see that
yeah.
transition.
Yes, because that's why y'all don't have any edges to lay down. That glue is ripping it
You
out.
know, I know it's just, and it's unfortunate. Like you can still wear a unit where there's a bang.
Mhm.
Like if you know what I'm saying, just like they need to give it a break. It needs a break.
Retire it. Well, just do better. Because I always get hairstylists sometimes like, can I borrow your foundation to do the part? And I'm like, okay. Or the
Listen,
concealer.
it's fun. I know, and listen, it's cool. It's fun, and for photo and for like those things. But like if I'm going at Popeyes picking up some chicken and the lady, I'm like I see it. I know you see it. I can see it.
Okay, look, retire that. Is there, well, not is there, what has your journey in the beauty industry taught you about yourself over the years?
Mm, so many lessons. That which is really interesting. I, I'm not even sure if this is beauty industry specific, but I will say this only because my best friends are in the beauty industry. And what I've learned about myself is that um, I am not as which is interesting. I'm not as open as I think I am, meaning that if I am somewhere and I'm at an event, because I'm a super shy person, and there are quite a few people who will know me and will come up to me and be like, "Hey, Tiffy, I was in a class, or I like what you do," and I'm like, "Thanks," whatever. But what I've learned is that some people are afraid to come up to me because I'm kind of off by myself doing my own thing. And it's not because I am standoffish or mean or any of that. It's just I'm quite shy and I just like to be by myself sometimes. So, yeah, so I think that for sure is one thing I've learned about myself that I've been working on diligently. So when I do walk in a room, I try to go and introduce myself to everybody, or at least as many people as I can. So it's
Uh-huh.
forced me to come out of my shell a bit. So that's been really fantastic. Another thing I think is that I'm pretty good. For a long time I had imposter syndrome, and sometimes I still do, honestly. But I think sometimes when I sit back and I'm just like, whoa, like I did that, I accomplished that, I was there, I created that, I invented that, so it really helps you, or it has helped me with my own ability, to be perfectly honest with you. Because a lot of times I'm just like, I'm a hairstylist. There's a bazillion of us. If it's not me, it'll be somebody. But it's really taught me to be super thankful for when it is me.
Right. Thanks for sharing that, especially the imposter syndrome. People talk about that all the time at all different levels. Aside from that, like what are some like personal or like mindset shifts or challenges that you had to overcome to be like where you are today and the person that you are today?
Um, so for sure, as I mentioned, just being more outward was a mindset shift because it takes a lot. If I walk in a room full of people I don't know, my first thing is to go just off to the side and find a seat and be by myself. So I have to mentally prepare myself like, hey, Tippy, you are a public person. You need to, and you are a mentor. You need to be that when you walk through this door. So that is a mind shift for me every time I walk into a room where I'm teaching or any of that. Um, I want to say that's definitely the biggest because I don't know if I've had to adjust or adopt anything new in my journey because I've always been a learner. I've always been a listener. I've always been adaptable. I've always been pliable. I've always been a doer. So, it just sometimes that's why I'm like, I don't understand. Like I was sharing with someone recently, I posted something, hey, there's this celebrity gig, and the first response from a few people back to me was like, what's the rate? And I'm like, I would have never asked that. Like,
Mhm.
because that's not what was important to me. What was important to me was being able to put another notch on my resume,
Right.
because I do know that the more this builds, the more this builds. And but also I have to, okay, here's the biggest thing I've learned. I have to give people grace. I have to give people grace and not put my expectations on them.
Yes.
I do want the best for the people that I'm mentoring, but I can't mentor everybody. And what I've learned is, I can only bring you to the water, can't make you drink. So, and I have to not be mad when you're not drinking.
Mm, mm. Amen. Is there a such thing as balance when you're a mom, a wife, super poppin' stylist, educator? Is there a such thing, or you just do what you
I'm like,
can?
can I shake my head bigger? No, no, no. I do all I can. I am so thankful that my husband is, he'll let you know, when it comes to my work, he's team Tippy. And then when we're home, I'm team Gabe, so which is why it was important for me that when I moved here, I was mom and wife here. I didn't move here and start to work in a salon immediately. I didn't move here and decide to open a salon. Like, I've lived here for 12 years.
Mhm.
And now that my daughter is a few years away from high school, I mean, a few years away from graduating from high school, I'm like, okay, now let me let me do something. But no, there's no such thing as balance there. You have to do the best you can. And the best I can for me is I try to make sure that I don't travel every weekend. I travel every other weekend. So I have one weekend, I have 2 weekends a month with my family. And now that I have a salon, I can't, I try not to travel during the week. So my travel is solely on the weekend. So I can be here for my team because they need me too. But what I also have to make sure is that you said life balance with family and business, but me, what about me? I
Mm.
need balance from me too. So I just got a call 2 hours ago. Someone canceled a massage appointment and they called to see if I wanted to take it. And I'm like, yep, I'm taking it.
Mhm.
I'm taking it.
Yeah, yeah. That's one thing that we do neglect a lot of times in the pursuit
Hmm.
of our dreams and everything like that, is sometimes family gets neglected, personalized, our personal selves get neglected. So that's something I'm
Hmm.
trying to do better at as well, is like actually
Hmm.
schedule, like how I schedule my clients on my calendar, or
Yeah.
even I have to put my friends on my calendar. Like they want to hang out, I have to put it on my calendar. Otherwise it doesn't exist. Like I need to get more intentional about
Yeah.
putting myself on the calendar.
1000%.
Mhm. So at the end of the day, Tippy, like, what do you want your legacy to be?
Um, I've started using this hashtag in my classes. Tippy taught me. And at the end of the day, I'd like for someone to say, you know what? She really helped me in my career. She really helped me. Whether she knew me or not, she helped me.
Hmm. Hmm. That's what it's all about. Elevating the next generation. Anything else
Mhm.
next coming up for you?
Gosh. So Hair Love, obviously, getting things together for the summit. Tickets go on sale on June 1st. The awards, the enrollments are open now, so you can submit any of your work now to texturedhairelevated.com. And I am going to LA in a couple of weeks because I'm hosting our first mega Mizani haircut certification. So I'm actually going to be teaching the 2-day hands-on class from LA, and I'll have students in my class, but I'll be broadcasting out to 4 additional locations around the country
Okay.
where more Mizani artists will be helping with the hands-on portion. So you'll have those educators as well, but the majority of education is coming from me live stream from LA.
That is fantastic and so exciting. So make sure y'all stay tuned for everything that Tippy has coming up. Before you go, I have to ask you the rapid fire questions, the Friends in Beauty rapid fire questions.
All right.
So whatever comes to your mind first, just let us have it.
Okay.
So the first one, what are the top 3 keys to your success so far?
Listening, learning, and
Mm.
speaking up.
How do you measure your success?
I don't know if I do.
Mm, okay. What's the best advice you've ever received, or a piece of advice that's just always stuck with you?
Be nimble. I think the best advice I received was be nimble. And I know it's rapid fire, sorry, but I feel like I need to add context to it. Is that I used to be very strict and, well, you said this is what was supposed to happen, and this, so learning to be fluid and nimble was, I think, the best advice I've been given.
Okay. What advice would you give to another stylist right now who is just ready to give up? They're just not seeing the results that they want in their business or behind the chair, and they're just like, I don't know if this is for me.
Don't give up, just pivot. What you're doing exactly may not be what is the best thing for you. So if it's a hairstylist specifically, if you are in a salon and you don't have a lot of clients, okay, so maybe you're passionate about hair, maybe editorial is your space, maybe becoming an educator is your space. So if you're passionate about the beauty, maybe the vehicle in what you're doing it in is just not what it's supposed to be.
Got you. What's a resource that has helped you in your business that you can share with the Friends in Beauty community?
Sure. Well, I had an agent for a really long time, and having someone that was my manager slash agent who could battle and fight and champion on my behalf was very instrumental for me. I know there's tons of agencies out there. I know there's tons of management teams out there. I no longer work with an agent because I don't necessarily do celebrity work anymore, but I now have a manager who introduces me to new brands and introduces me to new partnership opportunities. So I don't have the time personally to see what's constantly out there because of all the things that I am doing. So I have someone that is out there looking for opportunities for me.
Okay. And the last one, I just want you to fill in the blank and just say, my name is blank. And the key to longevity and success is whatever you think it is.
My name is Tippi Shorter Rank, and the key to longevity and success is being open to opportunities.
Yes, stay open, y'all. Before you go, please share your social media information or however people can connect with you, find out about the awards, find out about your classes, like lay it on us.
Sure. So my Instagram is at Tippi Shorter. That's Tippi Shorter. My summit, the Textured Hair Elevated Summit, October 8th and 9th, you can follow along on Instagram at textured.hair.elevated. So there you'll learn all about the summit as well as the awards. In terms of my education, you can learn all about that at my page at Tippi Shorter. And if you are in the Midwest, in Kansas City, surrounding areas, or just want to take a flight in for the day to get your hair done, you can follow Hair Love KC, and that's at hair.love.kc.
This has been such a fulfilling conversation. Thank you so much for sharing so openly with us on the Friends in Beauty podcast. And I'm so excited about everything that you have going on, the salon, the texture awards, the new technique and everything that you're about to teach. I just thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Share this episode with at least one friend in beauty, and subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts so that other friends in beauty can find this show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, #Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.